काका, तुम्हारा नाम क्या है?
क्यों? कंप्लेन करने का है? मकसूद नाम है मेरा, मकसूद। जा कर दे कंप्लेन।
नहीं, तुमको पॉडकास्ट सुनाने का है। जब लोग एंटरटेन होता है, सब लोग साला म्यूजिक बजाता है, तुम सबका कचर पट्टी सुनता है, तुमको कोई हैजिट एजवेल नहीं सुनाता है मकसूद भाई। लो मकसूद भाई, पॉडकास्ट सुनो।
ए क्या रे?
रुलाएगा क्या? I said your line also. Hi, welcome to Has It Aged Well. My name is Abbas. With me in the studio is, as usual, my co-host Urjita. Urjita, say hi.
Hello.
You just did a... Oh, you are still in character. Oh my God. Urjita, it's 2023.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
No.
It's the new year. New year, new me. Do you have any New Year resolutions?
Live.
That's it?
Yeah. Try not to
Die?
Yeah. I don't want to say die. मैं इतनी sadist हूँ नहीं. But try to live life happily and not think about the future.
Oh, we did not mention the movie we're discussing today after doing all that Maqsood Bhai bullshit. We're talking about Munna Bhai MBBS today, and this is our first episode of 2023. My New Year resolution is to make Has It Aged Well the #1 podcast in India.
Oh, same. That too. वो resolution नहीं, वो तो हमारा कर्तव्य नहीं है.
जरूर
वो तो duty है.
Duty. And to live also, yes.
And to live,
yeah,
yes.
to
yes. I feel like जो resolution की बात हो रही है तो फिर मतलब एकदम bare minimum से चालू करते हो ना. So then anything is upwards.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you're watching this in the highest resolution. Thank you very much. With that,
समझा नहीं ये joke. समझा नहीं. Can you explain?
You're watching it in 1920. नहीं, 1920 by 1080 resolution. Okay. Yes. Now that I have sufficiently mansplained the joke, let me introduce the guest we have today to discuss about Munna Bhai MBBS. She's a stand-up comedian. She's a writer. She's come here all the way from Kharghar, who, if you're not from Bombay, is very, very far. Please welcome to the studio and to the episode, Vrinda Bhagchandani.
Hello. I've been not saying so since a long time ताकि तुम लोग इंट्रोड्यूस करवा फिर मैं कुछ बोलूँ. Wow, I touched the stand right now.
Actually उसको तूने मारा है.
Whoever I've offended. इसके पहले मैं बोला कोई भी stand नहीं छुएगा. I'm like मैं करूँगी अभी.
Vrinda's New Year resolution is violence. She's like मैं तोड़ दूँगी.
Every year's resolution.
Yeah, वही.
Vrinda, welcome to the show. Munna Bhai MBBS was a choice for us because there's a stand-up video that you've put out where you discuss Munna Bhai in quite a bit of detail. We'll put the link of the video in the description and you can check that out for yourself. But we'll know some more opinions of yours about the movie and what you have to say. Yes, Urjita?
I was going to say that Vrinda actually starred in the movie. Very lesser known fact.
Are you serious?
Remember that picture where Circuit is standing with his wife?
Yeah.
Remember that kid in his hands?
Yes.
उसकी जो photo खींची ना वो Vrinda ने खींची.
Okay. There'll be better jokes on the other side of this break. We promise you that. So we'll discuss Munna Bhai MBBS and see you on the other side of this break. Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. Here's wishing you all a happy new year. As we step in the brand new year 2023, here's introducing Club Paisa Vaisa, which gives you early access to Paisa Vaisa episodes 3 days before release, ad-free content, bonus content, and access to full episode archives. So get your yearly membership today for only ₹6.99. Log on to club.ivmpodcast.com/paisavaisa. New episodes are out every Monday. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus and Amit Doshi talk about books they read in the year 2022. Amit offers some great recommendations, adding Cyrus's book The Average Indian Male to the list. On Capgemini's Techipedia series, Sheiladitya talks to Rajesh Kosalram, head of automotive for Capgemini Engineering. They talk about the softwareization of vehicles, trends in the automotive industry, and much more. On the Advertiser's Guide to the Galaxy, Karthik talks about an FMCG giant's smart way to promote its hair oil. And on Has It Aged Well, me and Urjita are joined by comedian Siddharth Dudeja to break down the 1997 suspense thriller Gupt and how well it holds up. New episodes are available on the IVM Pop channel. Once again, don't forget to visit our merch store on ivmpodcast.com. We have some exciting stuff for you. Follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you like our shows, please spread the word. Tell your friends and don't forget to rate and review them wherever you're listening to them. You can also find our shows on youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week, Capgemini and HDFC Mutual Fund. Thank you for making this possible. And we're back on Has It Aged Well. We're talking about Munna Bhai MBBS with Urjita and Vrinda. So, guys, Munna Bhai MBBS, I have very pleasant memories about this movie. And where do you guys stand on it? I saw this movie last night after quite a few years. And we'll get to what I thought about like the smaller aspects of it. But by and large, again, I had a good time. Where do you all stand with Munna Bhai MBBS?
I loved it. I
really?
love it every time I watch it. In fact, it like whenever I watch Munna Bhai, it transports me to my innocent self. Ki, you know why I started my love for movies. I know like for everybody, the love for movies is like Martin Scorsese, Godfather, Al Pacino.
Why do you take a dig at Martin Scorsese in every episode?
I have nothing against Scorsese, bhau. I'm just, but for me, मुन्ना भाई MBBS is like the true art of storytelling कि मतलब ये इसमें ऐसा कोई नहीं सोच रहा act 1 act 2 act 3 नहीं भाई आता है action है act 1 से ही चालू है उसका ऐसा कोई नहीं है. So मुन्ना भाई for me it's like it's an instant mood changer. मैं कितने भी खराब मूड में हूँ मैं मुन्ना भाई या तो मुन्ना भाई देख रही हूँ या मैं उसके कोई इंटरव्यूज देख रही हूँ. I have like watched all the interviews out there related to मुन्ना भाई. In fact that one interview with राजकुमार हिरानी फिल्म कंपेनियन का जो था that I think is the major interview. Like उसके बारे में रिसर्च करना हो तो लोग पहले वही इंटरव्यू देखते हैं. तो
मैंने नहीं देखा यार.
तुमने नहीं देखा?
नहीं, I haven't seen this one. But anyway, we'll put the link in the description.
Yeah, so whenever I feel, because I'm a writer and also an aspiring filmmaker.
Yeah, I didn't know you were an aspiring filmmaker.
I also didn't know till I the point is कि ये सब ना टाइटल से दूर हटना है, हमें कंटेंट बनाना है, कुछ स्टोरी सुनानी है.
Of course, yes.
मेरा ये तो ऐसा है, मैं storyteller.
Also performed at the Spoken Fest, so yeah.
Oh yes. ये अब्बास हर बार बोलने वाला है और वीडियो अगर घटिया आई तो ऐसे गाली पड़ने वाली है ना. लोग वो वीडियो पे जाके बोलेंगे अब्बास ने तो बड़ी तारीफ करी थी.
क्या भी लिंक इन डिस्क्रिप्शन डाल देंगे.
हाँ, of course. By this time the video might be out, so we'll see. Vrinda, do you have what are your first memories of watching Munna Bhai MBBS?
I loved the movie. I remember I was around 5 or 6 when I watched the movie for the first time, and अब तक मैं साल में 4 बार या 5 बार तो देख लेती हूँ.
Seriously?
Yeah, it is my comfort movie. कि कुछ भी good content देखना है, that is the go-to movie that I watch. I remember I was such a big fan of the movie कि बचपन में like I had a thing for Circuit का costume.
Okay.
So I kid you not, मैंने मेरी माँ को बोला था कि मेरे को एक सलवार और कुर्ता चाहिए that is pure black. I used to walk like him, and you know that scene जहाँ पे वो कॉलेज में वो लेक्चर ले रहा होता है और उसका प्रोफेसर आके बोलता है कि किसी को कुछ क्वेश्चन है क्या, और उसके पहले वो चने खा रहा होता है. I used to travel in trains, put chana in my hand, do it like this, और फिर मैं करके उसको फिर उड़ा के खाती थी. I was so much into character because I used to love Munna Bhai and Circuit, but Circuit more. This was one of the movies जहाँ पे मुझे sidekick main character से ज़्यादा पसंद है. Yeah, so it has.
I feel like
all good
I feel वृंदा को बस टपोरी बनना था.
हाँ, I was about to like.
उसने बस टपोरी वाले एलिमेंट्स लिए कि ये बंदा जो अच्छा है अच्छा वाला नहीं, तू टपोरीगिरी क्या करता है वो बता, मैं करेगी.
Why do you think as a 5 or 6 year old this appealed so much to you? Was it the comedy?
नहीं, I feel कि the tapurigiri of Circuit appealed to me a lot.
Okay.
But you know, it's not just the tapurigiri कि तुमको बोलते हैं कि ये गुंडा है, तो गुंडा कैसे गलत दिखाता है ना हर मूवी में.
Right.
एक ऐसा गुंडा है जो औरत की रिस्पेक्ट करता है. याद है वो चिंकी बोलता है, चिंकी ऐसा कैसे पिछू से अक्का खुला तुमने कपड़ा पहना है. Bro, he respects women.
Yeah.
Then मम्मी पापा की रिस्पेक्ट करता है, झूठ बोला क्योंकि. And I also like now when I look at that movie and I relate to it, I'm like हाँ मैं मुंबई में गई and my parents are like क्या करती है, and I'm like डॉक्टर बन गई, and they're like but आके सच्ची देखते अच्छा तू स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन है. I have a board outside my house. तो वो मतलब different aspects, हर एज में मैं different aspects से relate करती हूँ. But बचपन में it was basically, I'm sorry to say, but like a king for guys who are tapori but also like
good hearted,
side.
right? Yeah.
क्या cutie है, but you know he has
bad boy in the streets.
Me whenever I crack a bad joke in front of my parents, बेटा तू stand up comedian है ना, ना तू comedian है ना.
So this came out in 2003 and Urjita of course knows. I don't know if you know Vrinda, I am a dental college dropout. I studied 2 years of dentistry and then I dropped out. You also didn't know this?
No, I
Wow,
you never
neither
mentioned
of you have seen my set then. Okay.
Wow. You
Even
never
now.
saw her said that. It's out there on
Yeah.
YouTube.
We are even
if you
now.
type if you type stand up comedian, हाँ उसके थर्ड सजेशन में वृंदा का वीडियो आता
मैंने
है.
नहीं देखा.
Anyway, so I took admission in my dentistry in 2005. This came out in 2003. तो तब मैंने end of 2003. So I was in 11th standard और ये decide हो गया था कि इसको डॉक्टर बनाना है because my father is a doctor and he's like कि 12th में जो भी है जैसा भी है he has to become a doctor. And when this movie came out, my sister was already had taken admission in medicine. Okay, so she was in her first year of physiotherapy when this movie came out. So you can imagine everything that they are doing, they saw
Yeah.
on screen, right? And I remember that time there was no hype around this movie because Rajkumar Hirani was a first-time director. Vidhu Vinod Chopra had not made a very successful movie for a long time. Sanjay Dutt का भी थोड़ा ऐसा ढीला चल रहा था. Arshad Warsi का भी ऐसा था. And the selling point of this movie was Sunil Dutt and Sanjay Dutt for the first time on screen playing father and son. Yeah,
this I didn't
that
know.
was the emotional this thing. And I remember the film released and my sister was in Karnataka at this time studying medicine and we used to talk every day. Like she used to call me and tera din kaisa gaya ye wo. That Friday when she called me, without hello, hi, anything, he's like, "Tu Munna Bhai MBBS dekh, kya picture hai, you have to see." Yeah, and that's the one thing I remember of Munna Bhai MBBS. It was your typical word of mouth wala movie because there was no hype around this movie. Nobody was looking forward. It was pure word of mouth के हर एक जो देख के आ रहा था दूसरे को बोल रहा था कि बहुत funny film है, and that's how the whole thing spread. So for me also, I saw this film and then I took admission in dentistry, and all of these things are so relatable because it is literally how things are shown in this in the like many people think Asthana is like this very cruel villain. How can a doctor be like this? But नहीं, doctor लोग ऐसे ही होते हैं when they actually become professors in colleges. They are like this. So let's recollect the plot of the film. Very simple plot. By now you all must have guessed. In case you are one of the two people who hasn't seen Munna Bhai MBBS, Sanjay Dutt plays Munna Bhai, and he's this bhai, Bombay ka bhai, who has lied to his parents saying that he's a doctor when he's actually not. That entire first section of the film where they're pretending to be doctors is so funny. And I was very surprised when I spotted Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Did you guys remember he was in this movie?
Yes.
He
It
plays...
was how he got his role in Gangs of Wasseypur.
He plays a pickpocket, and that introduction of Sunil Dutt is a little too, very, तू जानता है ये कौन है, ये हमारी पब्लिक है, इनके अंदर इतना गुस्सा भरा हुआ है, मैं इनको ये दे दूंगा तो ये हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा. But that whole stretch, it also reminded me of Badshah a little bit because that's what the whole spin of Badshah was, कि वो जो भी बनाना चाहता है उनको बना देता है. And that entire bit is so funny. So what did you, that just sets the tone of the movie, where I feel like very few films now get the comedy right, the comedic tone of the movie right so fast, so quickly. So what did you guys think of that first 20-25 minutes when he's pretending to be the doctor and everybody's
I feel
pretending
like
to be
it's
patients?
such a great joke, but also at the same time I feel like it is just one of those jokes that is so good but also like slightly unbelievable. तो अगर आज मुझे पता है, अगर मुन्ना भाई नहीं बनती और मुझे आज अगर किसी को पिच करनी होती, तो अगर मैं ये लॉग लाइन लेके जाती कि ये एक गैंगस्टर है, ठीक है, और इसने अपने फैमिली से बोल के रखा है ये डॉक्टर बन गया है, तो ये झूठ मूठ का क्लिनिक बनाते, तो पहले ही मतलब सब बोलेंगे कि नॉट रियलिस्टिक. लाइक देयर आर सो मेनी पॉइंट्स इन मुन्ना भाई जहाँ पे कोई ना कोई प्रोड्यूसर है, कोई काट के बोलेगा नॉट रियलिस्टिक, ये बंदा मतलब ऐसे कैसे ये भाई की तरह चल रहा है, फिर उसको एडमिशन कैसे ऐसे कैसे फेक रिपोर्ट कार्ड बनाया, नॉट रियलिस्टिक, ऐसा होता ही नहीं, हमने कभी देखा ही नहीं है. आई फील लाइक एट सो मेनी, दैट्स द सेम केस विथ आई थिंक ऑल द राजकुमार हिरानी फिल्म्स. लाइक देयर इज जस्ट इतने ज़्यादा अनरियलिस्टिक है वो, लाइक इफ़ यू एट द कोर इटसेल्फ कि यू फील लाइक रिजेक्टिंग द आइडिया एट द रूट, बट देन लाइक
he somehow still makes it work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like that is what makes me believe कि sometimes if somebody is convinced कि this idea will work, तो you should go with their conviction. And इतना भी realism अगर सच लाइफ ही मूवीज में दिखानी है तो फिर मैं तेरा सेल्फी ना देख लूँ.
सही बात है.
मैं क्यों बनाऊँ अलग स्टोरी? हाँ, हाइपोथेटिकल सिचुएशन क्यों एग्जिस्ट कर रही है? फिर क्या, फिर वही हम सच ही दिखा देते हैं, न्यूज़ ही देख लूँ ना मैं. So I feel like that is what, like, whenever I have a very unrealistic idea and I have many of these unrealistic ideas, मैं जब भी किसी को pitch करने रहती हूँ तो of course ये unrealistic है. I'm like, मेरी मुन्ना भाई बनेगी ना मैं बना लूंगी ना, तब बोल लियो अमेजिंग बन गई, क्या बात है।
पेरेंट्स सर्कल तो फिल्म राइटर बन चुकी है।
I think also as Vrinda pointed out, the trick of this movie that it does very well is it shows Circuit and Munna together right from the get-go,
Yeah.
right? And I think that very first line where in the beginning they're chasing this businessman and everything, and then finally when the penny drops and Munna tells Circuit, तेरे को खाली बंदूक दिखाने के लिए बोला था, तू चलाया क्यों नहीं? चटका लगेगा भाई, कुछ नहीं है, नकली गोली है, and that is when you realize that these people are actually not like hardcore gangsters, they are like, they are just simple minded and they want to just scare people in the beginning. That whole section is very funny when they take Nawaz to the clinic and Nawaz identifies Munna कि ये डॉक्टर कब से बन गया. That whole thing was he puts him on the stretcher and he says कि cut बहुत deep है, इनको पट्टी लगा, और it goes to the operation theater, shuts it and the operation theater का bulb comes on. That's such a physical gag. It does it so well, which brings me to the Abbas representation of this movie. It's a lot of, we spoke about Main Hoon Na,
Yes.
and I told you I can't hate Main Hoon Na because a lot of Abbas representation in that
yes.
movie. In this movie also, Abbas Darwala writes the dialogues,
Yes.
and especially the Mawali dialogues. He's written the lyrics and the dialogue. The lyrics of all the Bhai wala songs are Abbas Darwala, and the other poetic ones are Rahat Indori, who himself is like a very well-known Urdu poet.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
who recently passed away.
Yeah.
Rahat Indori. He's written the lyrics for this film.
Damn.
And of course, there's that iconic dialogue where we're going ahead, but Asthana says कि मैंने decide कर लिया है, मैं अब्बास भाई को phone करने वाला हूँ दुबई में. I'm like, oh, so much Abbas representation.
But I can,
मेरा
like,
हरनिया उधार है.
मैं अभी भी मुझे थोड़ा रजिस्टर होने में टाइम लगा. राहत इंदौरी ने इसके
इसके
लिरिक्स
lyrics लिखे हैं, yes.
अपन जैसे टपोरी का हम जैसे टपोरी को क्या गुफ्तगू करेंगे.
मेरे को ना फर्स्ट जो एंट्री वाला शॉट है जहाँ पे द गाय इज गेटिंग किडनैप्ड और उसके माँ बाप आ रहे हैं, उस सीन में व्हाट आई लव इज हाउ फास्ट सर्किट चेंजेस कैरेक्टर.
Yeah.
बिकॉज पहले वो बोल रहे लाए लगे लाए कर रहे लाए, जैसे ही आंटी आती है आप आइए ना, क्विक स्विच. आई एम लाइक क्या आदमी है ये.
Yeah.
Dude, Arshad Warsi has done such amazing small things. Like the first time they go to see Chinky and he introduces himself to Chinky. He's like, Apun Circuit. And she's like, as in short circuit? And उसका मुंह उतर जाता है. मतलब he doesn't even say a line.
And the way he dances in that scene, it was so creepy but so charming at the same time.
Like at the core, if you think about it, इसका जो है गैंगस्टर्स है, ये लोग को डॉक्टर बनना है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कोटिंग राजकुमार, नॉट कोटिंग बट राजकुमार हिरानी ने बोला था, उसको पूछा था कि तुमको आइडिया कहाँ से आया. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ही यूज्ड टू हैंग आउट विद अ लॉट ऑफ डॉक्टर्स.
Yeah.
उनके हॉस्टल्स में जाके. सो उसने एक इंसिडेंट भी बताया था कि एक बार मैं एक हॉस्टल में गया और वहाँ पे ना ऐसे एस्ट्रे रखा हुआ था. तो ऐसा अजीब सा अनोखा एस्ट्रे लग रहा था. मैंने बोला ये क्या एंटीक है, और मैंने देखा तो इट वाज अ ह्यूमन स्कल. सो देन ही वाज लाइक अरे क्या है, एकदम रियल लग रहा है. रियल. डॉक्टर इज लाइक रियल ही है. सो देन दैट ऐसे उसके पास बहुत सारे एनेक्डोट्स थे. एंड सो एट द कोर दिस वी हैड डिस्कस्ड इन दूल्हे राजा ऑल्सो कि बिहाइंड एवरी फनी मूवी देयर इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग लेयर of the society's reflection. I don't know if I'm framing it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, from the point of view of the doctor, it's like a very darkly comical
so,
thing.
No,
Yeah.
let me finish. ये मैं भूल जाऊंगी बाद में. तो इधर भी मुन्ना भाई का भी एक लेयर था कि the thing is कि उसने डॉक्टर्स को बहुत गफला करते हुए देखा था. And that was a thing that was, वो टाइम पे न्यूज़ में काफ़ी आ रहा था कि करप्शन मेडिकल फील्ड में काफ़ी करप्शन हो रहा था. तो उसको उसके ऊपर कुछ बनाना था. एंड सो इनिशियली द आइडिया वाज कि 3 डॉक्टर्स उनका हॉस्टल के एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड एनेक्डोट्स, वेरी सिंपल स्टोरी लाइन. एंड देन बाद में उसने बोला कि नहीं, उसने ना देन ही ड्रू अ कंपैरिजन बिटवीन गैंगस्टर्स एंड डॉक्टर्स कि ये दोनों जो है, ये दोनों लोगों को डरा के उनसे पैसे हटते. That's the one thing common between doctors and gundas.
That's true.
The only difference is that doctors get respect and a lot of respect and a lot more money than these gundas. So उसने फिर उससे ये थॉट को लेके उसने और एक स्टोरी सोचा कि एक गैंगस्टर है, ठीक है. देन नाउ अभी 3 दोस्त चले गए, अभी एक ही गैंगस्टर का स्टोरी है. इसके सर में बहुत दर्द हो रहा है, ये सुबह सुबह उठता है. तो उसके सर में बहुत दर्द हो रहा है, वो डॉक्टर के पास जाता है, तो उसको ऐसा वो एक डॉक्टर दूसरे डॉक्टर को रेफ़र करता है, ऐसा कर करके न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट वगैरह सब डॉक्टर्स के पास जाता है, उसको ऐसा खर्चा बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, अल्टीमेटली फाइंड आउट उसको बस हैंगओवर हुआ था, बट डॉक्टर्स ने उसके सर दर्द के बेसिस पे उसको इतना बड़ा बिल फाड़ा, एंड दैट इज़ व्हेन ही रियलाइजेस कि ओ फक, I can also do this thing.
So I don't know if you know this, but the medical community is pretty split on Munna Bhai MBBS. There is,
Oh, really?
It's my father does not like this film for the very reason that he thinks it just shows doctors as these heartless human beings who don't want to. And to be honest, when I was watching it yesterday, also that initial speech that Asthana gives to initiate the students,
But that is not
we are
wrong.
not here to make friends.
But that is not wrong. That is correct.
It is wrong to a
Sort
certain
of,
extent,
yeah,
because I mean, anybody, my father's a doctor, and anybody will tell you that doctors also want repeat business, right? So at any, especially my father's a dentist, so I'm not saying that if you do a heart surgery, you're like, यार जब अगली बार तुम्हारा heart fail होगा, like,
तुझको देख के मेरा दिल फूलना सा रहा है, get it?
but it's very possible that if he's fixed one tooth, there are 31 other opportunities that that he will want the person to come back. So he has to create a rapport, a friendship with the patient to make them feel at home. So I think the film goes a little hard on that, but I get it. He wants to also make the whole thing. And I also have I know my father's friends who are doctors who love the movie also. So yeah, it's a little split on that. But Vrinda, so you
just one thing that I want to mention, कि मैं ना, because I'm so much into Munna Bhai MBBS, and because you were talking about how he got the idea for the entire film.
Yeah.
Few scenes, not the entire movie, but few scenes, especially the part where he's being interrogated whether he's cheated or not. Last वाले time पे जब questions पूछ रहे हैं. It is loosely based on the movie Patch Adams.
Yeah.
So that movie is basically about a doctor who is practicing और पेशेंट्स पे वो अपना पूरा कर रहा है without having a proper license. And उसका ऐसा है कि by providing humor and like emotional support I can still treat them, but doctors are like कि नहीं कर सकते, तो वैसा. And even his dressing sense और वो सब काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें मतलब इंस्पायर करके उस मूवी से ली गई. That is another wonderful movie, but doesn't have the same tone. मतलब वो
of course वो अपन जैसे टपोरा नहीं बोला.
So Patch Adams starred Robin Williams, and that's a way more emotional film that will make you cry, and
I cried during Munna
of
Bhai.
course.
So excuse me, I cried at least 3 times during that entire movie.
Would you remember the 3 times?
Yeah, I do.
Which ones?
पहले बार जब उनको पता चलता है कि ये डॉक्टर नहीं है, सेकंड टाइम when he is ready to leave कि मैं जा रहा हूँ, मेरे को नहीं करने का डॉक्टरी, और फिर वो चिंकी हाथ पकड़ लेती है.
And third time when Vrinda said to her mom कि मुझे डॉक्टर नहीं बनना है.
मैं कभी नहीं बनने वाली थी.
And when's the third time?
And third time is when उसके पेरेंट्स वापस आ जाते, बोलते तूने हमको प्राउड किया है जब तू मतलब एक्चुअल में. I'm like, bro, what an emotional callback, man.
No, I genuinely get very moved when the Maqsood Bhai scene comes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, we made so much fun of it, but I don't know, there's something about that scene where it's like, oh man,
agree.
this is
मैं
very
थोड़ा
heartwarming.
तब भी इमोशनल होती हूँ जब जहीर उसको थप्पड़ मारता है.
So I want to ask you about this. Is that moment played for laughs?
Why?
No.
It's not, because he's running behind him to hug him, and he's like, मुझे गले लगाना, नहीं लगाना, कहाँ? And then he slaps him.
If it was
And
played
then
for
he-
laughs, then
and
वो
then-
music नहीं बजाते वो.
So that's the music stops, and then next line he says, कहाँ नकल आ रहा हूँ? So that always made me wonder, is that supposed to be a laugh line?
No. I think you have a very wicked sense of humor.
True.
मैं पता है कभी रोती हूँ, मेरा इमोशनल ना, this is a very underrated scene, but जिसमें वो जो स्पाइडर पे चिकी बूम चिकी अब क्यों रो रही?
Urjita, what is
Yeah,
wrong?
you need not dance, Urjita. It's a podcast.
मेरे को जहीर के बारे में एक और चीज बोलनी है. Now that we are talking about जहीर का जब से एंट्री हुआ है ना मूवी में, उसको यही बोले जा रहे कि तू मरने वाला है. जब वो चिंकी के इसमें एंटर भी करता है, चिंकी इज वेयरिंग वाइट क्लोथ्स, पूरा वाइट क्लोथ्स, ठीक है, एंड शी इज सेइंग आई एम सॉरी बट आपके पास ना दिन ज्यादा बचे नहीं है. एंड व्हेन ही आस्क्स कि मेरे पास कितने टाइम दिन बचे, शी इज लाइक वो मैं नहीं बता. आई एम लाइक बिच व्हाई मेंशन इट देन. क्यों बताया क्यों तूने उसको?
This my uncle had also told me, I remember he's a doctor, उन्होंने बोला था कि ऐसा कितना भी अगर कल भी मरने वाला होगा तो भी कोई डॉक्टर नहीं बताते हैं. हाँ, they always tell कि ये ट्रीटमेंट, और also first of all कीमोथेरेपी चालू होने से पहले अगर कोई डॉक्टर बता दे आपके पास दिन बचे नहीं है तो कोई कराएगा क्यों कीमोथेरेपी?
एंड सेकेंडली जब उसका नेक्स्ट सीन आता है और फिर वो बाय द वे आल्सो दिस इज द ओनली प्रॉब्ली द ओनली मूवी जहाँ पे किसी को कैंसर हुआ उसको बॉल्ड नहीं दिखाया.
yeah.
I was about to say GB Shergill,
Yes.
the only thing he has going for him is his hair.
Yeah.
So if you show him without the hair, then to he's
What a
then to
hottie, but he doesn't have too many days to live. दूर रहो इससे.
excuse me, I will not take bald insults on this podcast.
Why?
But
Why?
because
Why? I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
anyway, you had opinions
Yeah.
on Zahir.
तो उसको पहले जब वो आती है तभी पूरा वाइट में बोलती है आपके पास दिन नहीं है बच्चे.
हाँ.
फिर उसको हक करता है, बोलता है कोई बात नहीं सिंपैथी दे रहा है. सेकंड जब उसको डांस सीन रहता है, गाना क्या बच्चा है, जीने के है पल कम 4 दिन है तेरे पास ही, और 4 दिन बाद मरता भी है.
But to be honest, Circuit
And
tells him ना, जब टाइम कम होता है डबल जीने का डबल.
वही. एंड लास्ट सीन जब वो जा भी रहा होता है तब मतलब बेसिकली थ्रू आउट ही इज जस्ट पीपल आर जस्ट मेंशनिंग कि तू मरने वाला है. सैडेस्ट रोल.
इमेजिन वो पूछ रहा है यार ये ऑक्सीजन रिप्लेस करे ना, अरे तू मरने वाला है. तेरे पे वेस्ट काय को करेगा.
आनंद भाई who was in coma for 12 years.
Yeah.
उसको किसी ने कुछ
किसी ने कुछ
टॉन्ट
नहीं
नहीं
बोला.
मारा.
I know, yeah.
बेचारा ज़हीर है.
उसको साइन लैंग्वेज बोलते हैं
वो सुन सकता है. उर्जिता just being mean to Anand Bhai for no reason at all.
By the way, speaking of Anand Bhai, there are two Easter eggs which are an homage to the film Anand, which is Rajkumar Hirani's favorite
yeah.
film.
Yeah.
And that film also has to do about a man who is about to die, and he makes life easier for everyone. So the first one is again in the first part of the film when Sanjay Dutt is looking at an X-ray of a skull, and he says, "आपको lymphosarcoma of the stomach हो गया है." That intestine हो गया है, which is the same बीमारी that Anand had in Anand.
Yeah.
And Anand Banerjee, the name of the patient who's
First name
comatose.
and last name.
First name Anand, and Banerjee was the surname of Amitabh Bachchan's character in that, Bhaskar Banerjee. So it's a combination of both those.
रिसर्च करके आया, बस एकदम. मैं भी फर्स्ट चीज गूगल पे यही पढ़ा. I'm like, but who will remember the entire trivia?
Me. Actually, even I don't remember. I have it in front of me. But before we go into the break, so the original choice for Munna Bhai was Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
And he also gets a thanks in the end, credits for adding some things to the script. Do you see this as a Shah Rukh Khan film? Do you think if they would have
Yes.
stuck? You
Initially, I
I
was
don't.
like no, but now I think that Shah Rukh Khan, because I've seen him do bhai characters.
In what? Josh is the
Josh.
only one that comes to
There
mind.
was another one, अभी याद नहीं आ रही.
Okay.
But Josh में वो भाई character, and I feel like Shah Rukh Khan, this role, like अगर इसका हमने on paper description देखे, it's a भाई who needs to be endearing and cute.
Right.
So I feel like Shah Rukh Khan can be that. He has pulled that off in this Main Hoon Na and many other movies. I feel like he can
I
be
disagree.
endearing.
Vrinda disagrees.
Because संजय दत्त ऑफ स्क्रीन भी थोड़ा बहुत मुन्ना भाई
Correct,
है. तो उसके लिए नेचुरली आता है. उसके कोई भी तुम लोग.
Yeah, I think the lure of the character is Sanjay Dutt's off-screen persona. You know, the fact that he was in all that controversy about going to jail and everything,
Yeah.
and then you show him as this golden-hearted bhai. I think that just works. Sanjay Dutt initially was supposed to play Zahir, so that
Yeah.
the sad cancer patient would have been Zahir then.
तो उसको बोला रहा कि ज़हीर है ना, ज़हीर वो ना एक पल में उसको डबल जीने का आदेश दिया गया. लाइक डबल जीना है ना, अभी मैं डबल जी के मुन्ना भाई बनेगा. तो
बाय द वे मैंने ये नोट डाउन किया था. द नहीं सीन दैट बिकेम अ वायरल मीम.
हाँ.
Which nahi scene?
आई वो बता मेरे को कुछ पूछने का है, क्या मैं पूछ सकता हूँ? Isaac नहीं. तो वो वाला सीन एंड द डेड बॉडी सीन.
Yeah.
They both were improvised.
Improvised,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So the nahi scene, I can imagine it being improvised.
That's such a good sense of humor. Na? Munna Bhai has sense of humor off screen as well. I'm like more
Yeah.
into him now.
I think Sanjay Dutt is funny. I don't know. I've never hung
He's
out with
very
him.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dead body scene, I can totally imagine Arshad Warsi doing the chili chicken. तुम लोगों को दिखता नहीं क्या? Like,
ये
Full
chili
share.
chicken.
Full share.
one can argue that has not aged well, but then I would say it was a different time and different
And
era.
it's still funny. No
And-
matter how politically correct you are, it is funny.
And they're gangsters at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
Exactly. हाँ भाई तो वही बोलेगा ना, भाई थोड़ी ना woke बनेंगे.
वही ना.
If you show a bhai as woke, that is not unreal. That is unrealistic. I feel. Like a bhai cannot be like कि ए Chinese origin, ए Oriental origin.
Cuisine.
क्या?
Chinese cuisine बैठता है क्या गाड़ी में?
what I find very funny about that whole body scene, again we're going all over the place. This is that kind of an episode. But when they bring the body to the hospital and then वो उसको गोनी से निकालते हैं, and then when he wakes up, Arshad Warsi looks at him and says, "Bhoot, bhoot." Okay, so which just means that you have made the idea of an attempted murder into comedy also.
Yeah.
Because when he says कि body लेके आ, he literally thinks he has murdered him and brought him.
Yeah.
But then he actually wakes up and that's
उस मूवी में काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें हैं जो इनसेंसिटिव है बट ऐसे सटली पास कर दिया ह्यूमर में या कुछ भी. सी पर्सन हु हैज़ बीन इन कोमा फॉर 12 years, उसको शेव करवा के पूरे गार्डन में घुमाना is very and that too when his head is not in control. ठीक है, वो आदमी लुढ़क रहा है.
Yeah, you could have beheaded him.
and तुम उसको गार्डन में घुमाए जा रहे हो. Like सब लोग नर्सेस देख रहे हैं कि क्या मस्त आदमी है बट उसको अनकंफर्टेबल फील हो रहा होगा.
इमेजिन आनंद अगर घुमाते घुमाते उसकी बॉडी गिर जाती है उधर से.
ब्रो फील हुआ क्या?
नहीं ए भाई आनंद भाई तो अपने आप घूम रहे ले अपने साथ घूमने. आनंद भाई अकेले अकेले मत जाओ.
Cool, we'll take a quick break at this point. When we
Yeah.
come back, I have some more trivia about the film. We'll discuss that on the other side of this break.
नहीं.
I have a very funny story. Can I say it? Hi, I'm Shweta. I'm Navya's mother.
Hi, I'm Shweta. I'm Navya's mother.
I am Navya's nanny. My name is Jaya Bachchan.
I got nothing over here, guys.
It's a big day for me. Okay, start. What the hell?
I was saying something very nice and empowering and you just interrupted me.
Don't complain. Don't explain. Never explain.
Let me say it.
I have my little secrets. Hello, madam. How are you? I got your number. I told you don't get me started. Mom. When you want to do money pinching, you're also very good. I've seen you. I've noticed. I finished these many books. You're still on your first book. I finished so many books. I'm like, what the hell?
Leave me alone.
Definition of love has changed today. I'm too old for all this. Navya, there's a wonderful lake. Go and jump into
And
it.
drown
and
in
drown.
it. And she does.
Oh my god, stop.
What are you saying?
What the hell? It's important to have friends.
My best friends have been Navya and Shweta.
Aww. I have a problem saying no.
You better learn. It's the
the
best,
best word.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Okay.
What the hell, Navya?
What the hell, Navya? You're saying this podcast is called What the Hell, Navya? I have at least 3 What the Hell, Navya episodes in a day.
And we're back on Has It Aged Well, and it's January and it's very cold, so Urjita has worn a jacket. I know, Urjita, in the beginning of January, it's very, very cold.
Yeah.
So I can totally get why you suddenly were like, oh my
It feels
god.
like December for some reason.
No. This is
हाँ
a
थोड़ी दिसंबर वाली वाइब आ रही है but
हाँ, पता नहीं क्यों.
this carry forward from 2022.
Hey, why are you hiding the calendar from us, Abbas? हम दोनों को पता नहीं चल रहा है
let me
date
check
क्या
my
है.
phone actually.
What does it say? 2nd January. It's going to be a cold day, as is very apparent.
Yeah.
So, some more trivia about the film. Boman and Irani was the same age as Sanjay Dutt while they were in the movie.
Yeah.
Yes. And Rohini Hatangdi, who plays Sanjay's mother, was only 4 years elder to him. So,
What?
yes.
Auntie looks damn good in that movie. क्या cutie लग रही है.
And
But मैंने भी ये जब पढ़ा था तब मुझे लगा था कि ईरानी कितना गंदा लगता है उस एज में. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to use the word गंदा.
I thought
when
you
you,
were sorry
yeah,
to
when
use
you
the word
said
Irani.
I was like, what? Who is she talking about?
मुझे भी
Like,
थोड़ा
oh,
time लगा
Boman.
register करने के लिए.
संजय दत्त कितना हैंडसम टाइप्स लगता है ना कि अच्छा.
Yeah, I
लगता
think,
है.
I mean,
Handsome, I feel like थोड़ा overkill है.
नहीं
man.
हैंडसम है.
handsome, he was 80s, Sanjay Dutt was handsome.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
He's still
after, really?
Yeah.
Okay, Vrinda, you have weird taste
थोड़ा
in
वो
men.
मतलब ऐसे सोन पापड़ी की तरह दिख रहा है वो movie
I was
में.
about to say, I don't
like
know.
Son Papdi.
Post 2010, he's just become like it feels like he's melting. I don't know how to explain that.
वो पहले से I think it's the eyes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
The eyes or ice.
What are you saying?
You know it's cold in January, so.
Oh, that's true. Yes. But I just want to touch upon the one thing you said, that there are a lot of jokes in this which may come across as insensitive, but then Hirani does it in a way that he pulls it off.
Yeah.
And I instantly thought of, but sometimes that becomes problematic because in 3 Idiots there's that whole balatkar joke,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
also...
Which was uncomfortable even then. I remember मैं theater में देख रही थी. For me, it was still uncomfortable, and I was a teenager तभी.
Yeah. That's, I mean, I know this is not a 3 Idiots episode, but that's interesting because when I think back to it, I was like, why were we all laughing at that?
Did you laugh at those
I
jokes?
did.
I did. Same.
And
Even I
yeah.
did. मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि अभी भी, like, I don't laugh at it, but I don't see it as problematic because it fits well for the character. Like, the character would do it unknowingly. ऐसा force fitted नहीं लग रहा है कि character को घुसा के बोला है कि भाई तू बोल ऐसे. तो it doesn't seem problematic because वो heavy आ रहा है. तो इसलिए फिर मुझे उस चीज़ से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है कि ठीक है, it can pass off as humor.
Right.
Yeah, it really depends on the joke also. I feel अगर वो joke बलात्कार पे होता कि like यार बलात्कार तो ऐसे ही होते रहता है, ऐसा कुछ या कुछ होता, तो then it would have been proper.
But it's almost bordering on that, right? It
Yeah.
almost, I mean, the fact that they are egging on and they are laughing at it, and then it just becomes about stun and this and that.
Yeah.
It just anyway, we'll stick to the safer movie
Yeah.
of Munna Bhai MBBS. So Vrinda, you have a bit about Munna Bhai MBBS. You said it's your feel good comfort film. Do you remember when the set started coming in your mind and you were like, I love this film so much that I can actually joke about it?
It was first year of comedy.
Okay.
Towards the end. मैं जितना भी कर रही थी मेरे को रियलाइज हो रहा था कि दिस इज़ नॉट हु आई एम एज अ पर्सन एंड दिस इज़ नॉट माई कैरेक्टर बिकॉज बचपन से ही अगर मैं सूट में जा रही हूँ एंड मैं चने भी एक स्टाइल में खा रही हूँ बिकॉज आई रेजोनेट विद दैट कैरेक्टर सो मच एंड इवन नाउ ऑल माई बिट्स हैव अ लिटिल गुंडी टच टू देम. पीपल हैव टोल्ड मी कि तू गुंडी है. तो ये सब जो मुझे बोला है, सो देन आई ऑलवेज सी माई सेल्फ थ्रू दोज शेड्स की मतलब what would I do in this scenario? And I was just going to the supermarket and I was carrying my trolley. But I realized कि आनंद भाई joke can fit in this.
Right.
So जब मैंने वो डाला था, I was like, this is insensitive, but it's funny. तो फिर मैंने सोचा कि let's do this. Like, it is something that I would like to do. And then when I started doing it, it became very funny and a lot of people told me कि ये बहुत अच्छा joke है. Like, it's a very visual joke.
Right.
So then I...
Did it ever cross your mind that what if there are people in the audience who haven't seen Munna Bhai MBBS?
ऐसा होता नहीं था. ऐसा होता ही नहीं था. In fact, I wouldn't take names, but
there was a certain comedian.
Take names. Tell us the initials.
There's no bitching here.
Yeah,
but-
बस देखो इसके ये अभी चने निकाल के बेटा
बताओ. Initials तो बताओ. हाँ,
So
but
the thing
what
is,
did they do?
ये जोक मेरा सेफ जोक था. Like, हमेशा मैं इसके साथ ही ओपन करती थी तो मैं इतनी रिलैक्स हो गई थी इसके साथ कि मेरे को लगा कि अभी तो निकालना पड़ेगा. बट बिफोर दैट आई रिमेंबर आई वाज परफॉर्मिंग इन अ रूम जहाँ पे देयर वाज दिस एक्टिविस्ट हु वाज लाइक वो सर्टेन पीपल को लाइक वेरी वोक एक्टिविस्ट जो मतलब
Right,
गलत
got
चीज़ें.
it.
So I was doing this joke and I could visibly see them being awkward.
Okay. and obviously then they are the only ones you will see from the stage, even if everybody else is laughing. Yeah.
And Vrinda अपने को तुमको fuck you बोलना.
I wish. So I was doing that and you know वो एक तो होता है कि मुझे जोक फनी लगा, जोक फनी नहीं लगा, एंड द थर्ड इज यू नो तुमको कुछ तो ज़रूरत है जिंदगी में, तुम सही दिशा में नहीं जा रही हो, ठीक है. तो शी जस्ट सैट लाइक दिस एंड शी वाज जस्ट लुकिंग एट मी लाइक दिस थ्रू आउट एंड आई न्यू दैट शी इज़ लाइक शी हैज़ नो मोरल, उसके कुछ चरित्र नहीं है, संस्कार नहीं है इस लड़की को. तो मैंने वो जोक्स किए एंड I was waiting in the green room. After the show, she came up to me. She's like, you know that joke, that's very insensitive. And I'm like, yeah, but it's funny for me, so I'll just keep doing it.
Nice.
And the fun part is, after I released that video, काफ़ी लोग थे कि हाँ ये joke मेरे को बहुत पसंद है. Like उसमें molestation भी है, eve teasing भी है, वो सब भी है. But people remember the Munna Bhai joke so well.
Right.
And ये जब हो गया, I got this one comment that I remember अच्छे से in bold. There was one comment, वो read more पे था 2 बार. इतना लंबा comment था. I was like, it is a very nice video, very funny, but there's something very wrong with you, you know.
Oh my God.
You need to sit with somebody who has a better intellect than you. You need to get your life sorted.
Oh wow.
You know, you're just depressed and that's why you're cracking these jokes because you want to punch down. and what you need is just positivity in your life. And I'm like, I'm
Do you think it was the same activist?
I don't think so, because you know the positive was used as plus and
Oh.
VE. I'm like, ये activist हरकतें नहीं हैं. But
Activists, they start everything with TLDR.
yeah. So ऐसा था कि some people just viewed the entire bit for jokes, which is what I wanted, and thankfully majority ने वही किया, but 2 or 3 people who wanted to correct me.
Right. Okay.
My dentist liked the video, so I'm happy about
Dentists are funny people, I'm telling you.
it. Your father didn't take the joke well, so don't lie, Abbas.
Yeah, kind of. But I do. I want to talk about Gracie Singh. What happened to her? She was supposed to be the next big thing in Bollywood. She had Lagan, and then she had Ganga Jal also she was in, which was critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
And then she had Munna Bhai MBBS. And I was looking at her IMDb credits. I was like, where did she go? Did you guys know she's been playing Santoshi Ma on a show called Jai Santoshi Ma
I have
for the
no
last
idea.
5 years?
No.
Like she's in the lead.
संजय दत्त नहीं मिला तो लोग क्या क्या कर देते हैं bro.
I mean, it has got a lot to do with, like, you know, sometimes just being at the right place at the right time doesn't work
क्या
wonders.
motivation speaker वाली बातें करती है.
नहीं,
Do you-
उल्टा बोल रही हूँ. मैं
Do
बोली
you
कि
like her in this movie?
I liked her in the movie, but then
She-
also because उसका role इतना है नहीं.
Exactly, yeah. Also, I think
So-
in front of Boman and you know Arshad Warsi, who are doing this like over the top kind of these characters, she's like just a plain Jane. She doesn't have much to do.
Like I feel like when you think about the cast of Munna Bhai, वो probably नवाजुद्दीन से पहले आएगी. That's
Kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. Even that one Chinky scene, the actress who plays Chinky gets to do more in the 2 scenes than Gracie Singh.
exactly.
तुम लोगों को चिंकी का कोई भी डायलॉग याद है?
You mean Gracie Singh's dialogue?
Yeah.
क्या करने का मतलब ऐसे हाथ कमर पे रखने का और डांस करने का.
ये कब था? मुझे नहीं याद है.
बॉयफ्रेंड
See,
बोले तो
exactly.
बॉयफ्रेंड
Boyfriend
बोले तो
वो
भी संजय दत्त
that's
का.
the other guy.
We're just mimicking. See, that's how less of a role she got. जहाँ पे
I remember when she first time speaks to Munna on the phone and she says कि देख अपन तेरे को बता रहा है, and in turn she says अरे तू ऐसे ही बात करता है क्या अपने patient लोग के साथ. That's all I remember of
अच्छा,
her
so you meant
dialogue.
Gracie Singh. I
Yes.
thought like Chinky as in the fake Chinky. Gracie
Fake
Singh
Chinky was good.
हाँ बताओ कौन से याद है? ये भी मतलब प्रॉपर ऐसे स्टैंड आउट
हाँ.
डायलॉग नहीं है.
हाँ, but
Anyone.
वही जो चिंकी का जो बोला ना कि ऐसे कमर पे ऐसे हाथ रखने का और बॉडी हिलाने का म्यूजिक के साथ.
See, I don't remember. I've watched it so many times.
Wait,
but
I
still
remember.
don't.
ज़हीर तुम कल क्यों नहीं आ जाते? कल तक अपने सारे काम निपटा लो.
Oh yes, this dialogue I remember. See, that's even about a person who's going to die for her to be important.
तो ऐसे तो but okay, I remember Chan Chan.
That's Rahat Indori and Anu Malik. That's not Chinky.
चिंकी बेचारी को credits ही नहीं मिला, bro.
So, Urjita, I would like to contradict something you said in the beginning. कि इस पिक्चर में 3 एक्ट नहीं है. इस पिक्चर में 3 एक्ट हैं. The first act is the whole parent वाला bit. The second act is again the whole Munna comes and revitalizes the hospital. And then there's the third act where Zahir dies and like that forms a little bit of the third act where Munna himself is like कि अपन क्या कर सकता है जब अपन जान नहीं बचा सकता है. Yesterday when I was watching the film for the first time I felt like कि वो third act में वो लोग थोड़ा they're trying a little too hard to make you emotional. They're trying too hard to make you cry. You know, and so did you guys feel like that, or did you just think like the whole thing where the entire staff stands up against him to not let him leave
Okay.
and all of that? I thought it was a little too dramatic as compared to the rest
If
of the
they
movie.
tried too hard, I would like to say it worked.
Okay.
I always appreciate good efforts. नहीं, but I whenever I watch that scene, see, honestly, like if it was any other movie, then it wouldn't have made sense. But उसका दिखाया मुन्ना भाई का कि कैसे उसने सबके साथ धीरे धीरे करके relation बनाया. So to me, it made sense why all the staff stood up for him. Why the
Okay.
entire staff stood up for him. And I think like barring this one weird professor, जो जिसने
Who is on Asthana's side?
Astana's side, everybody else is on Munna's side.
Yeah.
So, but
Why
it
does
made
the
sense.
matron? What does he do for the matron? Why is the matron on suddenly on Munna's side?
क्योंकि उसने जहीर को हैप्पी किया था ना.
Oh right.
Yeah.
हाँ,
And matron
okay.
is very homely,
Yeah,
motherly.
motherly type.
Hmm.
तो मैं मदर
True.
इंडिया बोलने वाली थी.
मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि जो लास्ट सीन है दैट वाज अ लिटिल अनरियलिस्टिक फॉर मी. अनरियलिस्टिक
Which one?
जहाँ पे उसके पापा आके बोलते हैं कि अरे तूने तो मेरा सर ऊंचा कर दिया फिर से. माई पॉइंट इज एक बाप जो इतना खड़ूस है, जिसने कॉल करके पहले ये नहीं पूछा कि तू कैसा है, उसने पूछा कि तू क्या कर रहा है मुंबई में, won't just change his opinion overnight because you've hugged somebody in a hospital. ठीक है. एंड सेकेंडली अभी उस डॉक्टर ने अस्थाना ने कॉल करके बोल दिया कि आपका बेटा डॉक्टर नहीं बना है, बट से सपोज ये हुआ है, और बोल दिया बट ही इज़ अ वेरी गुड मैन और ये वो हम चिंकी की शादी इससे करवा रहे हैं, बट स्टिल उसको एम्बेरसमेंट तो हुआ है ना अस्थाना के सामने, एंड द फैक्ट दैट ही हैज़ नॉट बिकम अ डॉक्टर. तो ये इंटरनल डिज़ायर्स थे कैरेक्टर के, अस्थाना के इंटरनल, अस्थाना बोल रही हूँ, उसके पापा के इंटरनल डिज़ायर थे कि मेरा बेटा ये बनना चाहिए और मेरे को रिस्पेक्ट मिलनी चाहिए. वो दोनों नहीं मिला जब उसको, तब फिर वो क्यों आगे गले मिल रहा है उसको? आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड द पॉइंट.
The way I see it is that because he's going and because Munna is going and making an impact in the lives of people like Maqsood Bhai and these smaller people.
And also
so these people must go back to their villages and say पता है कि कॉलेज में एक नया लड़का है जो सब कुछ ऐसा ऐसा कर रहा है जिससे लोग ठीक हो रहे हैं.
Also at the end of the day this guy his father Sunil Dutt वो विलेज में रहने वाला है, एंड गांव में इज्जत कमाना इज एनी डे बेटर एंड मच सुपीरियर देन पैसे कमाना. सो अगर ये सिटी का होता तो योर पॉइंट वुड हैव मेड कंप्लीट सेंस एंड शायद वो रखते भी नहीं, बट ये गांव का है, गांव के लोग को
डोंट एग्री बिकॉज सुनील दत्त जो है वो फर्स्ट पॉइंट से
Sunil Dutt and Sanjay Dutt are playing father and son. Vrinda, you needed that moment.
ठीक है बोलो.
And then Sunil Dutt died a couple of months later. This was his last film.
क्योंकि मुन्ना भाई ट्रीटमेंट नहीं कर पाया.
तुम साला डॉक्टर लोग, तुम लोग को तो बचाना चाहिए था ना.
ये कट कर दे.
मैं करके अलग से रील डाल दे.
Sorry, go ahead.
अगर ठीक है चल माना कि
Do you feel like Vrinda you're projecting a bit of your own parental issues?
Please let me यार, मैं technical.
You sounding like that commenter.
वही ना.
I think you are a little sad.
Go ahead.
I'm open to changes.
Yes.
But just presenting my POV here.
Sure.
I feel कि a person जब उसका पहले एक्ट में जब उसका पूरा दिखाया गया था कि उसके पापा कैसे है, सब इस्टेब्लिश किया हुआ था, तब एक चीज़ मुझे बहुत वाइटल लगी कि उसके पापा के आने पे बोर्ड चेंज कर दिया और उसके पापा का नाम रखा. इट्स द टाइटल फॉर हिम, इट्स द टाइटल ऑफ डॉक्टर है मेरा और मेरे
नाम पे रखा है.
मेरे नाम पे रखा है. अब वो गांव गया वापस, बोला कि हाँ डॉक्टर भी नहीं है और मेरे नाम का जो बोर्ड है वो भी फरेब का है, सब ये वो. तो it was about being a doctor and it was about opening a clinic that's under my name that made him proud and not कि गांव में जाके लोग बोल रहे हैं मेरे को झप्पी दिया मुन्ना भाई, देख क्या मस्त झप्पी दिया तेरे, वो क्या डांस करवाया लोगों से.
But this is also the guy who when he calls up his son and says तू डॉक्टर बना के नहीं, and he says कि हाँ बन गया, he believes it, right?
Yeah.
So for him the
तो वो
idea
मामू है ना. It's not about him, his internal desire changing. It's about him, वो कितने जल्दी मतलब
But
convince हो
wouldn't you agree there is also a scope for his father? His father can also have an arc, right? That from this stern father who just
वो
wants.
2 दिन में पॉसिबल नहीं है फॉर मी.
2 दिन थोड़ी, वो तो पूरा 1 साल निकल गया ना मेडिकल कॉलेज में.
And also like the way he left also, he left while Munna was crying for his love. तो of course कितना भी तेरा
Without a pagdi, mind you.
Yeah.
For the
So
first time.
Munna was crying while he was doing, and he did not even like let his mom hug him. तो वो दिमाग में कितना भी तुम्हारा बाप स्ट्रिक्ट हो बट वो इमेज छप जाता है. सो लाइक समवेयर उसने वो रोते हुए मुन्ना को तो कंसोल किया ही नहीं है ना, एंड वो सीन चेहरा अपना दिमाग में लेके गया है. सो ऑफ कोर्स लाइक you will be, you know, it's like being much kinder to the people who have broken your heart.
Let me put this into perspective.
Okay.
Say suppose you want मतलब डेंटिस्ट से ड्रॉप आउट नहीं किया होता डेंटिस्ट्री से.
Things are getting personal.
No, it's okay. now I'll relate to this.
ठीक है, ड्रॉप आउट नहीं किया होता और पापा को नहीं बताया होता, बट एक्चुअल में ड्रॉप आउट कर दिया होता. यू कॉल्ड योर फादर, हाँ ठीक है मैं बन चुका हूँ डेंटिस्ट. अंकल आए, खुश है एकदम, 2 महीने में उनको पता चल गया कि नहीं है डेंटिस्ट. ठीक है, फिर उसके बाद नाउ आई विल एक्चुअली बिकम अ डेंटिस्ट एंड व्हाट योर एक्चुअल जॉब इज कि तू क्लिनिक में जाके जोक सुनाता है, लोगों को स्माइल करवाता है. दैट इज द मैक्स यू डू एज अ डेंटिस्ट. Will your father be proud कि क्या मस्त काम करता है?
I know. You know why? Because what actually happened was kind of like that, right? I dropped out. My father's a doctor. Always wanted me to be a doctor because वही है कि मेरा क्लिनिक कौन चलाएगा अगर मेरा बेटा नहीं चलाएगा, whatever. Then I told him going into comedy. He doesn't understand what is stand-up, what we do, what we write, what is podcasting, whatever.
Abbas is living the life of Lagero Munna.
Yeah.
He's a radio jockey.
And that guy from 3 Idiots, Madhavan's character.
Yeah.
Photographer.
Farhan.
Farhan.
Yes.
So, but the thing is, when he sees my picture in a newspaper when it says performing tonight at the Habitat.
मुन्ना भाई इतना बड़ा comedian नहीं है.
But that's what I'm saying. Though these people who go back to their villages must be talking about it in the same way. कि तुम्हें
That's
पता है कि
what.
हॉस्पिटल में एक लड़का है जो ऐसी बातें करते हैं जिससे लोग ठीक हो जाते हैं जो सालों तक ठीक नहीं
एंड
हुए.
ऑल्सो इट इज नॉट अबाउट दैट. तू खुद ही सोच, एज अ डैड अगर तू उसका स्टोरी सुन रहा है तो लोग तेरे को क्या बता रहे हैं. लोग ये नहीं बता रहे कि ये हॉस्पिटल में रहने के लिए 10 बार पिटा था, वो उसने उड़ी मारी थी, उड़ी एज इन छलांग लगाई थी, मैंने मराठी में बोल दिया. बट लोग उसको ये बता रहे कि पता है ये हॉस्पिटल में गया, ठीक है, और वहाँ के पूरे स्टाफ को इसने इतना मतलब प्यार से रखा कि उसने जो मुर्दा ऑलमोस्ट मरने वाला था उसने कोई डॉक्टर्स जो नहीं कर पाए वो आपके मुन्ना ने कर दिखाया बिना डिग्री. नाउ इफ़ यू लिसन टू दिस ऑफ कोर्स यू विल बी इम्प्रेस्ड कि तुम इतने सालों से जो डॉक्टर्स तुम लोग पढ़ाई कर रहे हो तुम नहीं कर पाए, वो मेरे बेटे ने कर दिखाया.
I don't think we're gonna convince Vrinda today.
ठीक है, मतलब
It's okay,
ऐसा क्या ही
think it
कर दिया.
over.
वो तो वो अपने
एक बार सूर्य दत्त पिघल जाए, मैं नहीं पिघली. It's much easier to convince him.
वसूली के काम में भी कर ही देता था sort of.
So I had this one point, we briefly touched upon this in the first half, and I've made this note, should Munna have been more progressive, okay? And what I have written here is, has the Chinky plot aged well? Because wo same thing, when he goes to meet Chinky and he sees that she's dancing with other guys and she's this outgoing girl, and then when he goes to meet Asthana also, it's like ladki haath se nikal gayi liye, you know, this whole thing. So and then there's nothing in the movie that, like, Gracie Singh also by the end proves him कि नहीं मैं वो नहीं हूँ, मैं वही घरेलू लड़की हूँ.
But also at the same
and also just one last thing, when he asks Zahir something, there's a dialogue कि तेरे को ये नहीं चाहिए, तेरे को शादी करना मांगता है ताकि तेरे पास कोई ऐसा है जो खाना खिलाए, तेरा कपड़ा धोए, you know. So he has this very patriarchal mindset, of course, because he's a bhai and you know not very educated. So I get that. But should the movie have done something that towards the end he accepts Chinky for whatever she is, even if she's outgoing and dancing, whatever.
Maybe I feel like वो दिखा सकते थे, but also at the same time on the progressive scale, ये he's somewhere in the middle. Because if you think about all the old 80s and 90s के movies, अगर this was any other random character, ठीक है, मुन्ना वाज लाइक यू नो वैसा एकदम पीक गुंडा, तो चिंकी को ऐसे नाचते हुए देख वो थप्पड़ मारता. शर्म नहीं आती, तुम अपने बाप के पैसे पे ये कर रही हो, शर्म नहीं आती तुम्हारे संस्कार. बट इंस्टेड ही इज लाइक ओके यू डू व्हाटएवर यू वांट, आई एम आउट, आई एम आउट. एंड आई फील लाइक सो इवन दो एज मच एज यू नो आई नो इट साउंड्स वेरी रॉन्ग, ये ऐसा कैसा है, व्हाई डज ही हैव अ प्रॉब्लम, बट देन हर एक का अपना प्रेफरेंस होता है.
Sure, yeah.
आई नो दैट डायलॉग इज वेरी रॉन्ग कि वो बोलता है ना लड़की हाथ से निकल गई है. ऑफ कोर्स वो वाला that just proves कि नहीं वो प्रोग्रेसिव नहीं है. बट ऑल्सो आई फील लाइक वो इतना बुरा भी नहीं है. ही इज नॉट somebody who will you know पुलिस चिंकी कि नो तू ये करना चाहिए, ये नहीं करना चाहिए. ही इज लाइक तुम अपना लाइफ जियो भाई, मेरे को करने दो. एंड लाइक इवन सर्किट इज नॉट लाइक कि अरे भाई ये कैसी हो गई, लाइक भाई ये तो बहुत बदल गई है भाई, निकल लेगा क्या. सो भाई
भाभी मिल गई ऊपर हवा में,
भाई भाभी हवा में.
I am so very offended by this question.
Why? Oh my god.
Because firstly, मुन्ना भाई एंड सर्किट जब वो क्लब एंटर करते हैं तब वो बाउंड्री रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, सीइंग चिंकी की ठीक है, और ऐसा भी नहीं बोलता है उसको, डायरेक्टली भी नहीं बोलता है कि क्या पहना है तूने ऐसा वैसे करके.
हाँ वही.
एंड भी मतलब वो तो गुंडा है, फिर भी जो नॉर्मल मैन भी होते हैं दे गेट सो टची. मुन्ना भाई being a गुंडा was like नहीं मेरे को थोड़ा दूर रहना because I am getting uncomfortable. That's the most gentleman गुंडा you'll meet, okay? The best there is. Secondly, like वो ऐसा भी नहीं बोलता कि क्या पहना था. He's like just कैसा पहना है, पिछू से आँखा खुला, whatever he says. फिर उसके बाद
You're saying it was a culture shock for him.
Yeah. And मतलब वो उसका रिएक्शन था because that's what he expects from himself,
Right.
for himself. And I feel कि उसने जो बोला है कि लड़की हाथ से निकल गई है was because he saw her what
As a-
she
right,
was
right.
बचपन में, तो इसलिए बोला है. एंड वो जो है कि कपड़े धोया खाना खिलाए वो वाला थोड़ा गलत है, बट स्टिल लाइक I don't know.
Or also now
methodical takedown
and
of
also,
my
now that I think about it,
Yeah.
maybe he said that लड़की हाथ से निकल गई है just to like you know थोड़ा ऐसे it was supposed to be sly also, I don't know कि मतलब तूने मेरे आपको बोला था ना तेरा बेटा डॉक्टर नहीं है, तेरी बेटी भी जमिया बन गई है.
ये वो मीन नहीं करता है, उर्जिता ही अंदर से निकल रहा है, तेरे अंदर से निकल. You mean it on his behalf. अपने असली अकाउंट से आ, समझी ना.
Some more trivia. We also spoke about this in another episode. There are a lot of pigeons flying in this film, which is meant as an homage to Parinda, which is another Vidhu Vinod Chopra film.
Another movie that we have covered before with
Yes.
Sudarshan.
Link in description, yes.
Another thing that I noticed in the movie is the movie has great match cuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like the one we did right now.
You did not see it, viewers, because it was cut.
वापस से नहीं क्या?
Okay.
It has great match cuts. वो याद है कि उस रात अब उसको इतना मारा इतना पीटा कि मतलब वो सोचा भूलने का उसमें जब when he punches the guy
Right,
and then वो
yeah.
हॉस्पिटल में वापस आता है और ऐसे काफ़ी सारे सीन्स है स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग सॉन्ग्स कि वो जो शादी वाला सीन है उसमें फिर वो हॉस्पिटल में कैसा आता है there are great match cuts in the movie and the way he has played with the angles.
Hirani essentially is an editor. He studied editing at FTI. Yeah.
That's what.
So
So that's a very interesting point you brought up. तो हिरानी ने बोला भी था कि मुझे डायरेक्टर बनना था बट FTI में एडिटर का ही ओपनिंग था. मैंने बोला चलो कर लेते ये हो. So that is why because उसका एजुकेशन एडिटर का है. तो that is why even while directing he used to think like an editor. Like he would never like shoot extra scenes because he's like हाँ मेरे को इतना चाहिए मैं इतना शूट करूँगा. Like he was very calculated कि इधर से उल्टा शॉट आएगा ये यहाँ से match cut आएगा ये वो. So that's a very nice thing that you brought up and I feel like if Hirani listens to this episode,
Yes, sir.
please do.
Yeah.
Please invite us to the premiere of Donkey. We will all be there. And even at some places the cut is used as a laugh, like the Chana scene where he exits and then Swami gets up and he's like, "Sir, what is the procedure to change the room?" And then Boman yells and it cuts at that moment. So it's almost meant as a laugh.
Yeah.
And even when Munna confesses that he likes Chinky and he brings him flowers and everything, and then you just see Asthana laughing. There are 3-4 quick cuts of Hastana sitting here, sitting there, and then finally just throwing the flowers and sitting there. Yeah. I made a note of this, that song, that guy who attempts suicide, that kid. I think that was not required in the movie at all. It was just to
What are you saying?
force that song in that.
Shut up. Abbas, your
हर
opinion
type
sucks.
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing?
Why do you
I'm
need
offended with every question that you
that boy does not affect
I
the
feel
plot at all.
नहीं, I feel like
You think the movie doesn't need that song? You don't require kidneys. How about that, huh, Abbas?
I
It's a
feel
little extreme, Urjita.
उस मूवी में हर सॉर्ट ऑफ इमोशनल सपोर्ट दिखाया बीट मेंटल हेल्थ इमोशनल सपोर्ट कि
Yeah.
कोई फ्रस्ट्रेट हो गया अपने जॉब पे सेकेंडली सुसाइड दैट इज अनदर मेंटल हेल्थ का थिंग लाइक व्हेन यू पीक एंड यू like going to end your life वो टाइप का भी सपोर्ट दिखा है नेक्स्ट व्हेन यू गेट टू नो दैट you don't have any control over when your life is going to end उस टाइप का सपोर्ट दिखा है तो मेरे को लगता है कि वो डिफरेंट एंगल्स जिसमें में मुन्ना भाई ने सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड किया है सुसाइड प्लेज अ वेरी वाइटल रोल मेरे को लगता है कि वो सीन वाज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट और मतलब इन अ हॉस्पिटल अ पेशेंट इज कमिंग जिसको कुछ बीमारी नहीं उसने खुद के लिए कुछ क्रिएट किया है
Yeah.
वाज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू शो
Yeah.
तो अब्बास आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू मीट यू अगेन ओके
लेकिन this is such a nice line कि उसको बीमारी नहीं पर उसने खुद के लिए क्रिएट किया है लाइक उसके खुद के शरीर के ऑर्गन्स बोले भाई क्या हो गया ये शर्ट के लिए
कुछ तो लोचा हो रहा है
इधर अपन दिन रात काम कर रहे हैं तेरा इम्यूनिटी बढ़ाने को और तू आके खंजर
छोकरी के लिए
घुमा के जा
अपने
रहा
को
है
क्यों कुछ कर रहे है तू
The movie was the 7th highest grossing film of 2003, even though it came out in November. So in one month, it almost got made enough money to be the 7th highest. Do you remember? Can you guess what the highest grossing movie of 2003 is? We've covered this film on the show.
युवा नहीं
No.
सॉरी युवा नहीं 2003 मैं हूँ ना
No.
नो ओ सॉरी आई डोंट नो
You want to take a guess, Vrinda?
I haven't watched the episodes
Well, at the time of recording, the episode is not out yet, but it will be by the
Kal
time
Ho
you
Na
see.
Ho.
Kal Ho Na Ho was the highest grossing film of 2003. The film won 4 Filmfare Awards. Best actor in a comedic performance was given to Sanjay Dutt and not Arshad Warsi, unfortunately. It won the National Award for Best Popular Film. And This film Munna Bhai MBBS came out in 2003, made 57 crores at the box office. And just to give you context, its sequel, Lage Raho Munna Bhai in 2006, made 127 crores, which is more than double.
And also,
of this
Munna
film.
Bhai MBBS was made on the budget of 5.5 crores.
Yes.
So which is such a big win for the producer.
So they cut costs. This is a very famous thing.
Yes.
Where you want to tell us, Urjita?
So another story about this, कि क्या हुआ, because this was his first film and Vidhu Vinod Chopra was producing. तो क्या होता था कि उसने पहले ही सीन के लिए उसने ना मतलब कुछ तो इलेबोरेट 4 लाख के बजट वाला ओपनिंग सीन दिखाया था. वो जो सीन है ना जिसमें वो फॉलो कर रहे हैं तो उसको ऊपर से लेना था वो, उसको वो प्रॉपर इलेबोरेट सीन करना था. जैसे गैंग्स ऑफ वासेपुर में वो चेस का सीक्वेंस दिखाया वैसा उसको प्रॉपर ऊपर से शूट करना था. तो उसने पूरा एक्सप्लेन किया कि मतलब यहाँ से ये लेंगे, ऊपर से ये ड्रोन नहीं कुछ अलग शॉट, आई डोंट नो व्हाट दे कॉल्ड ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम. तो उसने पूरा एक्सप्लेन किया. विदु विनोद वाज लाइक चेस सीक्वेंस ही है ना तो एक कैमरा लेके भी हो सकता है. तेरे को इतना
कैमरा ले और भाग उसके पीछे.
या इतना पैसा खर्चा करने की क्या जरूरत है. सो देन ही जस्ट लाइक एट एवरी पॉइंट ही राजकुमार हिरानी रियलाइज दैट आई विल हैव टू लाइक strongly focus on the performances rather than my cost. So उसने और एक the funniest story I've heard about cost cutting कि उनको end में दिखाना था ना कि दोनों का शादी हो गया, मुन्ना और चिंकी तो उन दोनों का शादी हो गया. So the still that you see in the movie you can clearly see कि ये किसी random album वाले फोटो से उठाया हुआ है. So I still remember, oh my god, this is fucking funny.
Photoshop किया.
हाँ नहीं तो सुनना, तो मैंने ना ये one of those pages on Instagram जो ऐसे decode करते हैं everything तमाशा में इसने स्वेटर क्यों पहना है क्योंकि ये इसका ego super ego layering है. So one of those pages they had tried to decode that still कि this was like 4-5 years ago on Facebook I had seen this. They are trying to decode that picture कि basically they are trying to show कि ये जो नरेटर है बहुत साल बाद ये स्टोरी सुना रहा है इसलिए वो पुराने फोटो की एल्बम है. That is what
नहीं लगता है इतना सोचा.
So exactly, I'll tell you the real story behind it जो राजकुमार हिरानी ने बोला. Of course I don't know if he knows about this or not, but उसने बोला था कि क्या हुआ था कि बजट ख़त्म हो गया था पर फिर भी शादी वाली फ़ोटो दिखानी है तो कैसे दिखाएंगे, तभी फोटोशॉप वगैरह इतना था नहीं और VFX से तुम क्या कैसे लहंगा पहनाओगे. सो देन दे बोला कि ठीक है हम एक काम करते हैं, हम इंस्टेड ऑफ लाइक क्रिएटिंग और शादी का मंडप एंड एवरीथिंग हम क्या करेंगे, हम किसी दूसरे की शादी में जाके फोटो खिंचवाएंगे.
They literally went to a marriage and requested them, can we shoot a scene on stage?
Yeah, and so what happened was उन्होंने संजय दत्त और ग्रेसी सिंह को दुल्हन वाले कपड़ों में बिठा के रखा था किसी दूसरे लोकेशन पे. They were waiting for the शादी to get done. Literally every time हर 2 घंटे में कॉल आता था अभी हुई कि नहीं. So संजय दत्त had started drinking by the time. इसलिए कह रहे उनको बोलना उनका आटोपने को जल्दी लगे भाई उनका शादी है उनको कैसे बोले उठने को. तो
This sounds like a scene from Munna Bhai MBBS only.
Yeah, so then फिर बाद में फिर around 2 AM और so finally उनका शादी वादी हुआ. तो literally वो स्टेज से जब उतर रहे थे ये दोनों चढ़ रहे थे ग्रेसी और संजय दत्त.
उनको envelope दे रहे.
Yeah, and Sanjay Dutt was drunk. He was mad drunk by that time. That is why when you look at that picture, Gracie is in character, but Sanjay is like.
मेरे को पता और कॉस्ट कटिंग पे मैं सोची मतलब आई वाज जस्ट ट्राइंग टू प्रिडिक्ट क्या हुआ रहेगा एंड मेरे को लगा कार्डबोर्ड कटआउट्स पे मुंडी रखते ना वो हमें फोटो मैं उस तक पहुंच गई थी कि उधर.
So time for telling us what your favorite performances in the movie are. Vrinda, you want to tell us? You have a point before that? Yes.
You mentioned the numbers.
Yeah.
कि उनको कितने में शूट हुआ था और कितना उन्होंने बनाया. डू यू थिंक अब अगर अभी बनाई हो मूवी वो वापस से सपोज मुन्ना भाई MBBS 2 आई तो डू यू थिंक इट विल मेक द सेम अमाउंट?
You mean 3 because 2
A
तो
new
आ
story or
हाँ,
the
मतलब-
same movie? You're
नहीं,
saying
not the
if
same
it-
movie.
A new, okay,
हाँ,
a
new
third
story.
edition.
Yeah.
I don't know because
I feel like it will still make
I
the same.
even I think so. If Raju Hirani is making it, I would say yes because the guy has proved himself
Twice.
every time after
yeah.
that.
but
So,
the thing is that PK didn't do that. PK did well, but then it ran into many controversies.
yeah, but that's a separate issue, right? It was still a hit movie.
It was still yeah, it will maybe, yeah.
Are you saying if it was made on a big budget?
नहीं मेरे को लगता है कम बजट में भी बना देगी वापस
Yeah, I
इतना
think
ही।
the subject matter is universal enough that it'll still work.
तो I
And it
remember,
was remade in like 4 different languages, and it worked in every language.
and also I feel ये तो देखा भी था मैंने. Do you guys remember ये जब ही ना, this is the pre-smartphone era, जब ही हमारे पास वो छोटे फोन थे, तभी मुन्ना भाई चले अमेरिका.
Yeah.
ये मूवी आने वाली थी. This
It
is
was
the third
announced.
मुन्ना भाई. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
announced
yeah.
and उन्होंने उसका ट्रेलर भी बनाया था. तो it was about English Hindi because ये दोनों अमेरिका जाने वाले थे. So I remember there was this one joke in that movie which was shamelessly used in Bol Bachchan. And I don't know why, how were they allowed to pick it up, but anyway, वो जोक था कि भाई आपको देख के ना मेरा छाती खुशी से फूल गया. इसको इंग्लिश में कैसे बोलेंगे? After meeting you, my chest become breast.
I think I know why the film didn't go ahead.
So I feel if that was the premise of the movie, then it wouldn't do well because unfortunately that is also the premise of many stand-up comedians today.
Ouch, burn. Anybody
पे
in
क्या करने
particular?
का है?
Anybody in particular you're talking about?
तो मैं क्या तुम्हें नूब लगती हूँ जो नाम लूँगी यहाँ पे?
मेरे को वो था इनिशियल्स मेंशन का है.
The film was remade in Tamil as Vasuli Raja M.B.B.S, in Telugu as Shankar Dada M.B.B.S, in Kannada as Uppi Dada M.B.B.S, and in Sinhalese as Dr. Navarian.
I love all the names.
So,
Like I did
according
them.
to culture. But favorite performance of the movie, Vrinda?
Circuit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Arshad Warsi.
I have a crush on Munna Bhai, but favorite performance was Circuit.
I mean, you
देख के
went
ऐसा
as far
लगता है
as
कि-
copying the costume. So
Yeah. मतलब if I want to be with someone, it would be Munna Bhai.
ये relationship preferences
fuck Mary Kill. Asthana Circuit Munna.
Flames कर रही हूँ मैं उनके साथ. But if I would adore somebody and look at them and want to have a conversation every second of my life, Circuit. Yeah.
Urjita, for you?
I think Circuit was the best performance. I also like Munna Bhai. There is just something endearing about adorable characters that adorable but also like strong. There is just something endearing about alpha males being non-alpha.
Yeah, true.
That's my favorite genre of men. Alpha males being non-alpha.
I think the fact that the Circuit is so dedicated to Bhai that whatever he says, there's so many moments in the movie where he just starts beating Bhai na bola, kar. So
Yeah.
there's just something very sweet about that.
And also like you have seen so many movies about male friendship, but this one doesn't even sound toxic.
Yeah.
By a huge mind, like you have seen वो सोनू की टीटू की स्वीटी, प्यार का पंचनामा about male friendship, pure trash movies. I don't give a fuck. इतने गंदे, मैं चमाट मारूंगी.
Link in description.
Yeah.
Link in description.
Link in description. इसकी तो जरूरत भी नहीं. It's just so toxic. But this pure friendship is so pure, and especially I feel like I love how they have explored that track also in लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई, where Circuit का वो दिल दुखाता है and बाद में वो उसको sorry बोल रहा है. Oh fuck, I still get goosebumps when I think about
Just
that
a
scene.
thing I would want
Yeah.
to mention. मेरे को इसलिए भी ये दोनों गुंडे पसंद है क्योंकि कोई गुंडा कोई भी मूवी में अगर तुम लोग देखोगे कि अल्फा मेल कैरेक्टर है, he won't do something as जादू की जप्पी, won't hug his mom.
Right.
That emotional side is explored so well.
And ये रो रहा है.
वही
He
ना
doesn't
यार,
shy away from
ऐसा
that. Yeah.
कि तू कर वसूली, बट तू अगर मम्मी को हक कराना, you're a good boy. तेरे को नहीं कोई अंदर करना चाहिए फिर. That is what I believe in.
My favorite performance was actually, I would give it to Asthana. I think the movie works because Boman Irani. Also, this was his breakout performance. Before that, he'd only done some English films and one Hindi film, I think. And this whole thing that they gave him, that he laughs when he's angry, I think it's very scary, psychotic, but also funny.
Yeah.
So I think
Joker before Joker came out.
yeah, actually.
I remember on 3 different occasions I had done that when I was angry and sad, and I was just laughing and I was like, oh my god, I am Asthana. Oh shit. Thankfully it happened in my own room without anybody's knowledge, but now you guys know about it.
I think Abbas, you like Asthana just because he's a doctor.
Yeah, I was just about to say, also he reminds me of the worst professors that I encountered in my dental college. So yeah, who were extremely respected, but they were also like demons when they were in the classroom. So let's do the rating scale, Vrinda, on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, oh my god, it has not aged well at all. I kind of know where you fall because you have very methodically dismantled my arguments. 1 being it was a product of its time, and 10 being that you find something new every time you watch it. Where would you play? How much would you rate Munna Bhai MBBS?
10 because it's not the story
10. Okay,
yeah.
perfect 10.
Because it's not the story that changes for me, it is what part of life I am going through that makes me look at it differently. जैसे कि मैंने अभी बताया कि मैं how he is with women, वो मैं अभी नोटिस करना शुरू की हूँ. बचपन में मेरे को ऐसा लगता था कि गुंडा है, like it was funny for me बचपन में. फिर तो वो different phase में every time I watch it I discover something new emotionally, and that is what I like. कि मेरे को बस मूवी कैसा शूट हुआ या कैसा लग रहा है वो नहीं, emotionally I discover something new about it. So that's what I like.
Urjita?
Yeah, 10.
Really?
Because I rewatch also. यानी मैं 10 on 10 कोई मूवी हो नहीं तो मैं rewatch नहीं
Abbas, you're the only one who does not.
अब अब्बास अपने स्कोर देगा 6.4.
4321.
No, so
21510.
That's my number, ladies.
वो फोन करने का आपने को.
भाई ने बोला तो करने का.
No, I had it an 8. I would give it an 8. I just think the last act is a little too. You're trying too hard to make you feel emotional and make
That's
you
what
cry.
you're doing right now, by the way.
Make you cry.
You're trying too hard, is what.
Wow, ouch.
To rate it a lesser number than 10.
I don't think it's a very good film. It's a very funny film. I love it, but it's not a perfect 10.
Fine, I
Yeah.
mean, it's fine.
To each their own. Okay, last question. लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई और मुन्ना भाई MBBS.
Munna Bhai MBBS.
You?
M.B.B.S. Yeah.
Really? For me also, actually, I think this is the better film. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Mm.
But also like Lage Raho Munna Bhai is a very close second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
true.
I would still rewatch Lage Raho Munna Bhai also. Very funny.
I think they did a very good thing where they understood that they don't need to work hard for that movie to work. So then they actually took bigger issues and gave it a very a good message in a very funny way.
Exactly.
So I think that's a separate episode. Will Vrinda be back for that? We will find out.
Of course, this year, because it has just started, I'll come back again this year. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Vrinda, for taking time out and doing this. Any other movies you want to make sets out of so that we can call you for those episodes?
देखते हैं अभी.
Where can one follow you? Anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's Vrinda Bhagchandani.
And her video links will be in the description.
Yeah, Abbas should watch it. You guys watch it.
I have, and I will again. Urjita, where can one follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram @UrjitaVani and yeah.
Why were you
I
being
was
so...
going to say hopefully by that time my video will also be, but I was like no. By this time nahi
By
hoga.
the way, Iska voice when she was giving out her handle was so Sikh.
Yeah, I was like, wow, is she going
changed her
like...
voice.
Is she trying to seduce Zahir? What is happening?
I feel you're just reading too much.
Abbas,
into
do we
it.
have cancer?
ठीक है, मैं कल आके एडमिट हो जाऊंगा.
अपना सारा काम
सिर्फ आधा दिन ना.
You
बहन की
can-
शादी करानी है, माँ को हज पे ले जाना है, सिर्फ आधा दिन.
You guys can follow me on Instagram @UrjitaVani and you can also follow me on Twitter @VaniUrjita. आँखों में आँखें.
और अपने को फॉलो करने का @AbbasMumin on Twitter and AbbasMumin88 on Instagram.
Cheeky boom.
Para po.
Yeah, and
Anything you want to sign off in some Munna Bhai style? What should we say? चलना सटक ले अभी. मामू मत बना अपने को.
एपिसोड खत्म हो रहा है तो दुखी नहीं होने का, क्योंकि अगले दिन अपने मोहल्ले में दूसरा एपिसोड आएगा.
इस एपिसोड को घर ही करके डालूं क्या?
Alright, thanks guys. All right guys. Alright, thanks guys. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.